Very, very good morning, and thanks for keeping the rendezvous with us on Sport Banquet. This is DMR TV of the Diocese of Boya. In today's edition of the program, we'll be talking about football in Cameroon as the Cameroon Ballon d'Or ceremony took place yesterday, Friday, February 28th. At the Palais des Congrès in Yaoundé. The ceremony was to award top football actors of last football season. We are talking about the 2023/2024 football season, with Young Sport Academy Chindo John Bosco emerging as the best football player of that season. We'll equally be telling you about the president of Victoria United, Mr. Valentine Quine, that has been banned for all football activities in the country for the rest of the season, and a fine of 10 million CFA francs. This decision came after the homologation and disciplinary committee of the Cameroon Football Federation found him guilty of intercepting and verbally attacking referees, especially when the club plays home games. These stories and many more shall constitute today's edition of the program. Please don't go anywhere. All right, you are very much welcome back, dear sport fans, and we are very much delighted to have you. Stanley Tata is my name, and in the studio, I'm here with my very regular panelist. He is one of the finest football analysts we have in the Southwest region. His name is Bison Tabe Edward, popularly known as Pep on DMR TV. You are very much welcome, sir.
Good morning, Stanley Tata. Good morning to viewers. I always give the glory to the Almighty God for keeping me alive, strong and healthy.
And indeed, I can really see that you are strong and healthy this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another very regular panelist here with us. He is the coach of a regional league side here in the Southwest region, known as ATES. Coach Lambert, you're welcome.
Thank you, Stanley. It's been a while. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we kickstart straight away to talk about the Cameroon Ballon d'Or ceremony that took place yesterday, February 28th, at the Palais des Congrès in Yaoundé. The ceremony was organized to credit footballers of last football season. We are talking about the football season of 2023/2024. Gentlemen, many have been talking about this ceremony that took place yesterday. Some say it came really too late because we are already midway into a new football season. But just like the president of the Football Federation said, that it is better late than never.
But it's better late than we should not make it as a standard. We are talking of the last football that ended. It's close to 11 months.
Okay.
That ended the last football season. And we are already midway into the new season. And we are going for the Ballon d'Or. It's a good initiative, but if we are not at the level that will have the means and the sponsor to do this, we should keep those things aside. I'm happy with it, but everything should have a time frame. I'm told that in life, when you don't have a calendar in what we are doing, you destroy the beauty and the impact is not reflected. Since we have not attained that level, our football has not been revived. What we're clamoring and crying was a single polling, and it has come this particular season, even though it's too late. It is better. That is what we need. When the football has rejuvenated, we have a calendar. When the league start, when the week begin, things became. It is good to appreciate those actors who are doing that. That time we know that it is good that we have seen.
So are you saying that this Ballon d'Or ceremony will not have any effect?
It cannot have any effect. Let me make it the first point. What is the impact of the league? Nothing to write home. What is the impact of our match officiating? Nothing to write home. I say the first thing we should do, first, the referee should have that source of livelihood. In the yesteryears, 99% of the referee officiating matches in Cameroon have source of their livelihood. They were going there for passion. So it is difficult for them to be corrupt. I would only like to call Aka Amwa. He was a lecturer at the police high institution. Club president already know that if he has to handle your match, you must play for victory. He cannot compromise because he was doing that for passion. But when you don't have your source of livelihood, 20,000 can change the result of a match. So those are the point that I say we should fight for those things. Put the referee to have the source of livelihood, have a calendar, organize the league. The league become competitive. We're crying for a two-pole league who had odd number of money, and this year our cry has been heard. It's a single pole league which is 30 matches. You must be at your best to win the league because there's no complaint. You are playing everybody home and away. There's an altar of love winning the cup, but there's no altar of love winning the league. You must be at the best, the depth of squad, have the player to sustain. You must rotate to do that player. So what we are doing here, we are chasing the shadow instead of chasing the substance. It is good, but what is its impact? Look at our club that go on to
that was the question I was asking.
Yeah,
are you saying that there is no impact as far as this Ballon d'Or ceremony?
It is a good to motivate people, but we judge on overall on the impact of what is going on in football in Cameroon, which our coefficient is going down the drain. That's the problem I'm saying.
All right, I've gotten your point. Coach Lambert, you are a coach, though you are a coach in the regional league side here in the Southwest region, but I know you have a clue of football because you've played football before. Pep was trying to say that this Ballon d'Or ceremony will not add any flair to our football. Is that the case?
I think I totally disagree with him because you cannot blame the federation for the fact that talent has dropped. There's always a saying that you can take the horse to the stream, but you cannot force it to drink water. Yeah. Well, we are hoping that someday the football will be what it used to be in the country. Let's do what we need to do. I must say I was very impressed with the turnout and the organization of the Ballon d'Or ceremony yesterday. He who does not appreciate that, I don't know how I can term it, but we should not only think towards one direction. We should not be unidirectional in our way of reasoning because we want things.
What particular aspect do you appreciate as far as the Ballon d'Or ceremony was concerned?
First of all, the organization. Okay. Secondly, the presence. What first of all caught my attention was the presence
of top dignitaries.
Top dignitaries, particularly the Minister of Sport and Physical and the warm reception that was given to him by the President of Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, and I quite recall what he said. He made a very good statement now. And prior to that Ballon d'Or, I recall there was some news, even though I can't really confirm the source, but there was a time whereby it was made it clear that there will be a meeting sometime to determine the fate of the head coach of
Mark Breeze.
And prior to that Ballon d'Or ceremony, I heard news that the meeting has been cancelled. And as I quote, the president said that he is somebody that loves peace. This therefore shows that plus the statement that he made yesterday in the presence of the Minister of Sport and Physical, he said that they have
no matter what happened, you remain my boss.
Yes, and then it is rather unfortunate that they reason at loggerheads sometimes. They don't reason in the same in the same direction, but then it's for the greater good of the football, and that he somehow is happy that at the end they always have the results. It therefore means perhaps there's peace, and from today henceforth, perhaps the conflict you have been seeing in the past will no longer be seeing it. But I must say I'm very impressed. Plus the fact that I can say the Anglophone community, Anglophone players, and the stakeholders, we are equally recognized in the Ballon d'Or Awards. The main Ballon d'Or was equally Anglophone. I think the goalkeeper was equally Anglophone, and one of the assistant referees,
Mr. Kevin.
So it's something that is what it needs an appraisal. It's what appreciating. So I really
and as a matter of fact, it was also an avenue for peace, and so it was a well-organized event yesterday. Talking about the Ballon d'Or ceremony, Pep, you wanted to say something?
You don't want to Cameroonians. We like ceremonies. We are chasing shadow, but not the substance. I am not saying I say the Ballon d'Or, those prize means nothing to me. It's to structure our football, to bring it into the limelight, which we have vehemently failed to do that. Let's say things the way they are.
No, we are not refusing that fact.
No, let me come. I want to make a point. Even the minister has to reconcile with it. It's not in that ceremony. The boss, I've told that the minister of sport is when his boss. They should learn to solve that. Which we are not even supposed to talk about administrative part of we have to analyze for. But because of the way things are being run in Cameroon, have we ever talked about the FA in England? We talk about administration more than the football. We are not against it. I have to understand that our coefficient in football keep on dropping every year. That is what. Let me compare.
You cannot compare Cameroon level with.
I'm not comparing Cameroon. England. There are other African countries that have structured their football very well. Djibouti, Tanzania cannot have a vibrant league more than Cameroon. They will sit here because we have the greatest African player at the helm of the football federation, and we see things go the wrong way. We want to protect. We should not use that Ballon d'Or as a measuring rod. We are evaluating his job description is how to transform football into this country. Pep, we are playing our matches in the next stadium. That is my worst issue.
Pep, we are not refusing what you are saying. What I ask is, will this not affect the football positively a bit? I'm not saying that all you are saying is wrong, but just the organization of this Ballon d'Or, don't you think it will add something?
just a thing, just a little bit. We are, first of all, the first step we have taken is to have a single pool league. That's the first step we have taken in the right direction. And next season, we have to have a calendar when the league begins and when the league ends. And we'll know when the Ballon d'Or will come. If you want to do something, don't be in a haste. Go from the, if you want to construct, start with the foundation. We have a lot of losses in our football.
We are not refusing that fact.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Pep. At least I got the answer from the question I asked. At least you said a bit. It has added something into the football we have in this country. Coach Lambert, Chindo John Bosco finally emerges as the best player of last football season. Remember, he was playing for Young Sport Academy of Bamenda last season before he moved to Cotton Sport, because currently he is a player of Cotton Sport of Garoua. So many football fans, particularly in the Southwest region, find it difficult to accept that Wilfred Nathan Douala, who won the league with Victoria United, he was quite exceptional in the playoffs. We all watched the playoffs. How come Chindo John Bosco, who finished third with Young Sport Academy last year, was seen as the best player of the league? Don't you think there was some sort of bias in that?
Exactly. I was about to come to that, Stanley. You know, like Pep he mentioned a while ago that comparing Cameroon football with Tanzania and Djibouti, there are equally things you need to take into consideration. They have a different political setup compared to Cameroon. We know the political setup in our country. We know the ups and downs. So, like just a while ago, you saw what the president of the federation went through. There was a time whereby he wanted, where he had the Broha with Magris when they had to play in Garoua. He had to fly in, bring in the under 20 Lions to come and play, come and participate in, because should things went the way they expected. But then, what I would need for us to understand is the fact that the government decided not to give their support to him, because why? They felt like he was going against the entire
Coach Lambert, I think that there will be time for that. Okay. I wanted to find out something from you.
That's why I was coming to that, Stanley. It brings me back to what the question you asked. I myself, because if I said Nathan Douala really deserved it, because obviously he won he was a champion.
He won the
last
league,
week, and he was in the meritorious. Yes, yeah. He was a meritorious a player in that among the nominees.
Yeah.
But then there's equally the tension that has been happening with when Victoria United won. The news elsewhere, even the president of Young Sport Academy said in his tweet, said that the champion of last year was chosen and hopes that the champion of this year will not be chosen. It already tells you that should Nathan Douala had won the Ballon d'Or, it would equally bring some problems among the football community in the Anglophone setup. So, meaning it doesn't really. Sometimes you need to see how you can balance it. There's what we call regional balance in our.
Should we do that in football? Because we know that the game is being played on the pitch. We watch the game and we know which player is far more better.
I must say,
I'm not in any way disgracing Chindo John Bosco.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you need to look at we're trying to. If you look at it compared to the season of last year and this season that just began, you discover that the way the season is going is going without very limited hindrance or problems compared to last season. This tells you that the president, the Cameroon Federation, they have decided to change the tactics. I don't know whether it's because the elections are coming next year. They have changed the approach in which they are doing things. Take for instance, from my own perspective, I think they are trying to appease. They have gone back to their initial slogan of appeasement, trying to make everybody try to be happy. If they had given it to Victoria, it would be that to Nathan Douala would be that perhaps it's still a continuation of the relationship between the president of Fekafoot and the president of Victoria. So they have decided, okay, it's true, all of them merit it. They are the top 3 nominees. But then I think if all the same, we don't know the criteria was used to decide. Was it by balloting? Was it by voting? We don't know, cannot tell. But then I must say, even if Douala merited it, I think Chindo John Bosco winning it is somehow is better for me.
All right, Pep, I just want to have your take on this since we are talking about the Ballon d'Or. I know you have so many worries when you talk about football structure in Cameroon. But let's settle a little bit, because talking about the Ballon d'Or that took place yesterday, I woke up this morning and I saw many football fans, particularly in the Southwest region, they were really not happy seeing John Bosco winning the Ballon d'Or. Nathan Douala won the league with Victoria United. He also was part of the Indomitable Lions squad for the AFCON. How come he was not the best player in the league?
First, let me start with the league itself. There was a lot of foul play and cry for Popo being champion.
But we are talking about an individual player.
It was not justified them being a champion. And that same player is coming from Popo. That already have a question mark. Even he had all the potential to become the best player, will not be given.
Exactly.
Because he has a question mark why they were champion last season. If it was a justified champion, he could have gone along with the best player. That's the simple truth.
But I must say the last match they played that crowd, that's what, because during the playoffs the last match they played, I think, was against Star Renat. The way they had no choice.
They played against Union. They will play against Star Renat tomorrow.
No, I mean the last match in the last
they play off.
Okay. The last match, yes. Then last match they played that they scored. I think it was 2 goals to 1. When Nathaniel scored, he even scored a penalty that match.
Yeah.
So you see, in that match they had only one alternative to win the match to become champions. I must say, if it was based on the playoffs up, I must say they merited it from the playoffs. The controversy was surrounding around the qualification in the playoffs, where there had to be some points deduction from Young Sport, but equally there was points deduction from Victoria United, if you can recall. They were deducted, I think, 6 points.
But the point was given back. The point was given back.
No point was given.
It was not given back. The point against they had to play, they don't show up. I think it was 6 points. It was never given back. They had to win their matches to meet up. So those are the things that when people try to complain that Young Sport was the deducted points, they equally forget that Victoria United was equally deducted points. But then, however, politics is what it is. In football, football is not spared from politics. But then we are analyzing football the way we saw it. Then I must say, during the playoffs up, Victoria United proved it during the playoffs up that they merited the champions. But if it was prior to the qualification of playoffs up, perhaps
that is where a lot of dirty question can. Nathan Douala performed very well and merited to be the best player, but could not be given to him.
It could not be given to him
because of the question mark behind Opopo finding himself to a qualification and being the champion. So
is that the right way?
It's not the right thing. We are good in making progress in error. That is our country we find ourselves. Because if who was a justified champion, Opopo could have the best player and be the best team and be the best club in this year, last season period, but none was given to them. So they are trying to want to say that there is no link again between the African footballs and the Opopo president. Because they say both of them, their togetherness is too much and it's almost killing football. So you want to separate yourself from that entanglement. People say that they are together. That's what they are trying to do that.
All right, so Chindo John Bosco, currently playing for Cotton Sport of Garoua, was the best player of last football season. Last football season, he was playing for Young Sport Academy. Wilfred Nathan Douala was second, and Jules Amanko was third. Amanko emerges as the top scorer of last football season. So the award ceremony took place yesterday, and there were so many other awards that were given. Another major surprise too, like you made mention, was the team of the year. How come a team like Victoria United that won the league for so many years, that it has been a drought in the Southwest region, they won the league with such a fantastic fashion during the playoff up? Column of the Jar and Lobo was given the best team of the year. It's true, Column won the Cup of Cameroon and the Super Cup. Is that another very justifying aspect?
It is not justified. One, if a team like Cotton Sport that has been used in winning the league, there are periods that Cotton Sport can be champion. A team that has never won the league is even second. The team is given the best team based on the surprise. Opopo became the second team in the Southwest, and
it was their first season.
And the first season. So if it was a justified, there is no way you take Colomb, because Colomb won the Cup of Cameroon and the Super Cup, had a fantastic season more than Opopo. Opopo was the champion. See, there are a lot of controversy in this football.
Let me hear from Coach Lambert. Let's look at this other way. Victoria United won one trophy, the league. Colomb won the Cup and the Super Cup. Is that how they judge it?
No, you can't. The league title will always be superior to the Cup and the Super Cup. If you look at even a CAF Championship, the Confederations Cup, the take-home package is always inferior compared to the CAF Champions League. So the league title holders will always be superior to the. So if we are looking at that criteria, that's why I say that we don't know the criteria that was used to determine the best team and all these awards. Just like elsewhere in Europe, people always complain.
I'm sure it's voting.
Even after some time they always publish the criteria and who the people that participated in the voting. Like it's always done the Ballon d'Or. It's good that when we want to compare. For instance, it's easy for us to compare that. Why is it done in Europe this way, but we cannot copy it? If we can copy the example per se in every aspect, then we'll emerge. After the Ballon d'Or in Europe, they always publish a list of the participant people that voted. Like after a while, we got news that it's Tongo Pile that participated
Yeah.
instead of
Mark Breeze.
Mark Breeze. But then, if Pekaput had done the same to publish the list and how it was actually for us to know, then perhaps we can know why and how whether John Bosco meditated over Nathan Douala. But then there's something is we can never see. They not do it the past season. Then I don't know whether they will still do it eventually. But then let's wait and see.
All right, so Column, as sportive of the Jar and Lobo, the current leaders of the Elite One Championship, emerges as the best football club of last football season. And meanwhile, in the coaching department, David Mpago, who was the coach of Stade, I'm sure he's still the coach of Stade Renard of Melong. Okay, so last football season, he was the coach of Stade Renard of Melong. He also emerges as the best coach of last football season. Many were asking who even was the coach of Victoria United, because I saw the team manager was amongst the nominees, and many people were asking, where is the coach that we are seeing by the team manager amongst the nominees of best coaches in Cameroon? Victoria United won the league, but then the coach of the club was not the best coach.
The coach back then was is it the Serbian, the white?
That's Serbian.
Yes.
So the Bulgarian.
The Bulgarian, yes.
The Bulgarian.
He was the coach. I forgot his
So
name.
why was he not given the best coach? Because he won the league.
That is a $1 million question we keep asking. What role was the team manager playing that he had to be nominated over the coach? Because the coach is the master of the technical bench.
Yeah.
You cannot come over and except you claim the manager, the coach is just the manager is superior, because there's a difference between being a team manager and being a team coach. Because being a team manager means that you decide the player you want to buy, you involve in the administrative aspect of the team vis-a-vis being the coach of the team, like Pep Guardiola does. He's a team manager of Manchester City, but then there are equally some clubs where you have just the team coach. Means you don't have anything to do with the managerial aspect of the
when it
players.
comes to recruitment, you don't have
Any voice. You can only propose a player that you
Yeah.
need. You cannot interfere. You cannot try to bargain. So those are the differences. But then we don't know whether the coach of Victoria White was the team manager per se or actually was just the coach. But then, like I said, we do not know the criterion that was used to determine the nomination.
We're only made to understand that Coach Ringobert Song was the president of the jury as far as the ceremony was concerned yesterday. So we saw so many different awards, even in the female category. Naomi Eto'o emerges as the best player of the female league in Cameroon, known as the Guinness Super League. So many awards were given yesterday night, and that is Friday, the 28th of February 2022. Football fans in the Southwest region were very much disgruntled because we only saw the young player of the year being given to Jude Eno, a 16-year-old player who played for Victoria United last football season. No award actually really comes from Victoria United, a team that won the league in the Southwest region, in Cameroon, coming from the Southwest region. So, that was the award ceremony that took place yesterday, and so we are looking forward for another award that will be coming up next year. I'm sure the clubs and football actors in the Southwest region will definitely improve on that. At this point, we'll just take a slight break. When we come back, we'll still be talking about Victoria United, as the president, Valentine Quine, has been banned for the rest of the season. All right, you are very much welcome back to join us. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Sport Banquet. And in the studio, I am Stanley Tata, being flanked here with two gentlemen. On my right, we have the coach of a regional league side out here in the Southwest region, known as Ates. He is Coach Lambert. And on my left, we have Bisong Tabe Edward, popularly known as Pep. At this point, we'll be focusing on Victoria United, because within the week, there was some disturbing information we were getting that the management of the club sought out 3 players, which according to them, these players were involved in match bettings and that was maybe the reasons why the club has been facing dwindling fortune as far as the league is concerned. It went down to the level where one player, the goalkeeper Eric Parfait Jumesi, was tortured, according to reports we are getting from Limbe, and the situation is even worse as we speak, because we are still getting unconfirmed report that the president, Valentine Quine, is still under detention. I don't know, Coach Lambert, this is still a developing story, because as we speak, the president has been banned, but not for this story we are talking about. The president was banned for the fact that he keeps attacking referees on Victoria United's home games. That one is different from this. I want to talk about this first, because this is still very current before we talk about the ban. I don't know if you've got this story before. It was very, very in the mouth of sport lovers within the week. I'm sure you've got the story.
Yes, for quite some time now, or since Mr. Quine Valentine took over Victoria United back, I think it was 2022 season, right?
Yeah.
It's a show of power and authority began, I think, was with Coach Bana. Was the first victim, I can say, when he was still the coach of
yeah, we were told he locked up Coach Bana.
He locked up Coach Bana simply because, I don't know, according to the story I heard, there was supposed to be a match between, I think it was Option Sport. The Option was expected to win that match, but it was seemingly Coach Bana had to do so much more that Opopo triumph over Option Sport, and consequently he was locked up by the boss. So you see, people don't even remember that story.
No, people don't remember. Why not?
Because if you look at, because actually for me, to date, I don't really understand how that kind of thing can happen. Because we know that your team manager winning a match for you is supposed to be something glorious. Except you want to tell us that football in Cameroon actually becomes something else.
Maybe that is so many years ago.
Let's
talk about the current.
It's still the genesis of the current issue. But it had to, there's so many victims, just of recent. There was equally a sport journalist that was.
Yeah, Philemon Bale.
After Philemon, I think this one is Basil Bolik,
okay.
the popular Bolik, the medalist, where he was thrown out of the stadium by the delegation from
Opopo.
The officials of Opopo United, despite him portraying his badge, professional badge, yet he was thrown out of the stadium. For whatever reason, it means it had become a situation whereby, for as much as we really cherish his love for the game and his financial manpower, but then there are equally some aspects in life whereby you need to put yourself under control. He had become a liability to Opopo. That is very, very clear.
I understand where you are coming from, Coach Lambert, but I want us to look at it this other way. Is it right for players to go for match betting? These are players, and if the club management notice it, there must be a way out.
Of course, it's not. It's wrong everywhere in the world. Football nowadays is not what it used to be.
Almost everybody failed to look at that aspect, and they are only focusing on what eventually happened to the player.
The news we got was that he was the concern was first of all taken to the disciplinary committee of the team, whereby he was found not guilty. But then the boss himself was not still pleased that this guy was innocent, so he had to go as far as locking the boy up. But then, after the boy had contacted the family, the mother came and we know what happened, blah, blah, blah. The video emerged of him. The boy, perhaps he was being told what to say over the video, saying all is well, all the news are good, all the things are good.
But the player finally left the club.
He finally left the club, but then we don't know under what circumstance, because it seems he was instructed by the family lawyers to leave the club. Because as per the video of Victoria United, they said he's trying to settle in, but then moments later we saw another video emerging of him leaving the club with his belongings. But then after again a call came in urging him to leave the belongings behind, and that's how the boy the concerned left the club. But then we must say, wrong is wrong. No, two wrongs don't make it right. If it's actually torture, kidnapping and torture that took place in the premise of Victoria United, then it is wrong, and we must condemn it in all possible ways. So wrong is wrong, two wrongs don't make it right.
Pep, you are a football analyst, and I know you as someone who is very, very objective. I want you to look at this on both sides. Valentine Quine is the president of the club. He spent his money to make sure that this club do well. If there is a player, I'm just saying, if there is a player that is being found of any act to break down the club, is it wrong to punish that player?
The best way of doing it, we know he is a mitochondria of Opopo. Without him, Opopo would languish and would descend even to the regional league. But each player is fan of letting the club down. There is way to handle it, not by torture. Betting is all over, not only in Cameroon. But you need to know where you mediate with it. He has the right to. The player will face the law, maybe by banning or suspending it, but not torturing the players. Because he's the one spending the money in that club. No matter how big by the bush, he's a passionate club president and financially viable. But his attitude has a lot of question mark. That's the problem I have. But we cannot just stand and condemn him rightly, because if he's not, Opopo would not be in that level we are talking. Because he plays an important role in the club. I always see, no matter what people say, I'll still stand tomorrow and stand by and say, we should try to look for ways to change his attitude. Because the finance of that club, to put, you may have money, but you cannot put it in the club.
Yeah.
Having money is one thing. Having the passion to spend the money is another thing. But what he did was not correct. But the player to did something wrong. But the way he reacted, he's not reacted well. That way he's fine. That way he's having trouble with. Because the reaction of the player to is. But if he had acted properly, a lot of people have supported him, but not by torturing the player.
All right, so just like we said, it is still a developing story. But as we speak, the young 19-year-old goalkeeper Eric Parfait Njumesi is not part of the team as we speak. He will not be playing tomorrow for Victoria United, which means that something is definitely wrong. And according to reports we are getting from Limbe, though not to confirm, the President Valentine Quine is still under detention. We are getting information that he's with the gendarmerie out there in Limbe. But Coach Lambert, I don't know, I noticed that most of the football lovers in Limbe do not like Mr. Valentine Quine. This is someone who have revived football in that town. What really can be the problem? Is this just the fact that he loves Opopo and he wants the team to succeed?
That's equally something I myself have looked at it. I've thought over
It's
it.
terrible.
It's because for quite some time now, I've not had an elite 2, an elite 1. In fact, an elite club in the Southwest region. Then somebody comes and in a twinkle of 2 years, he brings up elite. He qualifies the regional league team to the elite 1.
Elite 2 and then elite 1.
Elite 1, yes. And then this is something that we are supposed to rally behind him. But then, in Cameroon, when you take over something, it is
and you are doing well. It's like people want you to fail.
No, because you taking over means you're taking over from somebody. And that person either lets you go and supports you, give you all his weight behind you, or the person keeps fighting you. That's just how it is in football. You can quite remember even this brother we have in football, even in the Southwest region here at the level of the federation. Those that were defeated last season haven't let go. They even go as far as using even journalists themselves to even fight the current regime. So you see, it's just a normal trend, a normal phenomenon in the Southwest region, whereby where you take over something, people prefer it to be someone they like. If it's not Mr. A whom they like, or perhaps I don't know what to call it, something that would be sounds xenophobic, but then if it's not somebody who perhaps is of their native, then why should we support you? So those are the things we always say. Take for instance, I always say that we like to compare our league when it suits us with the foreign leagues or foreign federations. You take Chelsea for example. Roman Abramovich took over Chelsea in 2003. Till when he left, Chelsea had most of this. Even not only Chelsea alone, Manchester United on most of the teams in England. How many English people have on the teams? But then people rally behind the team, they support the team, irrespective of who is the owner of the team. But on the contrary, here in Africa and Cameroon in particular, if it's not a native that has the team, that it's likely not going to be. So you are not likely not going to have the fan and the support you deserve. So that's the problem we have. But then I always say the person that was there before, what did he do? I can quite remember the person had to qualify for many interpost. I think twice or thrice. He goes and come back. So people preferred the person because people like him so much to remain at the helm of the club, and then the club stays in the regional league, rather than somebody who comes in, brings in the final, and simply asks, because there's a time whereby the governor has to intervene. And then he said that all he needs is the support from the Southwest people. Come and buy shares if you want to be part of. And there's always this phenomenon whereby where you are a leader and you are financially viable and you are doing everything, moving stones, doing everything for the well-being of the club, people think they deserve a say. But then when you are no longer there, them who thought they have to have a say in the club, they vanish. Take for instance, AS Fortuna, the president died, I think last year. the players went on ramp strike just last month. Why were the players striking? Salaries, match bonuses, and all whatnot. Where are the people perhaps who were clamoring to have a say because they had a financially viable president? But now the president is no longer there. Where are those people that maybe perhaps want, even mark my words, if tomorrow Victoria Valentine is no longer there, the people that perhaps are clamoring to have a say, we will not see them.
The club will be relegated.
It will be relegated.
What you have said
people that are clamoring to have
is
a say,
very common in Southwest.
It is, but just a sad truth about us in Africa.
No, let me cut to Southwest. When Man Cameroon was pulling trigger here, they had no support. When Faiz Olabi was pulling trigger with PW Kumba, people were thinking they fought him and Kellenboy took over the club and the club was relegated. That is the scenario. It's not in Northwest. It is in Southwest. That I don't care policy. Mr. Iteki was running Tico. He was just lucky that he was from that area and had a poor rally. We'll have an outside that is performing in our region. I will say to the way they are, we'll find people. No matter how Quine Valentine may be, he may have his own lapses and attitude. Yeah. But financially, he's a mitochondria of that team. And if not of him, the team could not. They should keep aside some. They know he has attitude problem a bit. Yes. The fact that financial will keep some excessive for him to move trigger. And as I'm saying today, if he leaves that team, the team will be relegated right to the regional league. Nobody will stand behind that and rally and put. Yeah. That one is very common here. That is the simple truth we are saying. You have mentioned Premier League. There is no top club in England owned by English people. The Liverpool, the Chelsea, the Arsenal, the Man City. No top club is owned by English people. But they see the money they are generating in their country. Then they support behind the team. So it's our mindset, our mentality in Southwest. I don't care policy. Thank God they'll have Opopo an option. Now we had an MT2 and MT1 because of how the team in this structure. If you see for the past years, okay, a team in Buawen, they had how many points? No point. So we should say things the way they are. He may have his lapses, I know. But I always stand behind him because of his financial contribution to football. It is not easy to put money in football. Easy. What is coming from football in Cameroon? Nothing.
Difficult moments for President Valentine Quine of Victoria United. He said it even before the start of the season that there are many people, football lovers in the Southwest region, that don't want him to succeed with the club. So currently he is facing very difficult moments with the club as there is a player currently that he has an issue with, and out of that, Pep, he has been banned. That was the decision that came out from the homologation and disciplinary committee just within the week. According to the homologation and disciplinary committee of the Cameroon Football Federation, Mr. Valentine Quine was found guilty of intercepting, threatening, and verbally attacking referees, particularly when Victoria United is playing home games. This one too is another issue. At least there are videos to prove that these allegations were true, and because of that he has been banned for not taking part in any football activities in Cameroon till the rest of the season, till the end of the season, and a fine of 10 million CFA francs. First of all, I want to find out from you, is that a just judgment being meted on him?
The first point is the amount of money meted on him.
10 million.
It's too much. I know he has some lapses that he has been attacking referee. And even though he has been suspended, he will still be doing things behind us with his money. For now, the only advice I will give him to look for a charismatic manager to put at the helm of the team. Because I know the survivor of that team lies in his hands. But that fine that I've given him is too much. What is the price tag money of the team winning the league in Cameroon and the Cup of Cameroon? They are giving a fine for a club president. So with the other fine, he's justified. But I would just wish, I know he's so passionate and has money. He should stay behind, allow the job of the coach, and still put his money for the club to sustain. But the next advice I'll give, if they continue troubling him, when his ban has elapsed, he has the money, did what Man Cameroon, he form his own club and forget about the town team. Because people means one people, one part, it's a town team. And the town team with the limit population, he's the main man putting his money in his club. But yet, people find it difficult to rally there. Stanley, I have my own way in life, I look at things. You may have money and you have a bad character. I would normally succumb to you because no matter, how can you run football with someone who have good character and no money? The final thing is money. That's what I'm saying here.
And Stanley, want to add to what Pep is saying. Remember, there was a time whereby, prior to him taking over, what even prompted him to take over Opopo was the fact that he mentioned, I quote, he mentioned the fact that over the years, he had been a staunch supporter of Opopo.
Yeah,
Opopo has been giving at least 30 million. I don't know, I've forgotten the exact amount, but it was from 10 million upwards.
He said it was close to 15 million yearly.
Yes, yearly. He has never got an account of how the money has been spent. But then he decided to take responsibility, take charge of the team. That's why I said that him taking charge of the team, like you had to create eminence because the person he's taking charge or taking the team over from him, he simply is no one to let go. But even though after some time he was interviewed and he said that he had no problems, he had let go of the team, but then perhaps his supporters still, letting something go and then putting strings behind from under the, in the background is another thing. But then it's just a canker worm that is eating us up in the Southwest region here, because even right at the federation, like I said, there's still this tussle whereby even journalists themselves have been, heavily involved in the politics of football. They no longer report journalism again. I'm not a journalist, but I know that when you report the news the way it is, now you have just reported the way you had it. But elsewhere, trust me, sometimes it made me ask myself, is there what we used to call National Communication Council, whereby they have to regulate journalism? But when it comes to being football, everybody has to tell us how, it has gone from worse to bad to worse.
Particularly when it concerns the president of Victoria United.
Yes, and
most of the journalists that are based in Libya, they are only very good at giving out negative
information.
They say
clearly without any fear. So it makes me want to ask myself, what is really happening? It's not only in the sporting sphere, it has divided the journalism community into two.
That's it.
There are situations whereby the other part that supports the other side that does not support the current regime do not want to deal or interact or work together with the other part, the other that feel they are supporting the current regime. So if the media is equally divided, then because it's not the media is equally a major stakeholder in football, it's not only about the players, the referees, and the administration of the team. So you see, it's a problem whereby unity is not something that will come only overnight. The other person, if they fight and win again tomorrow, the other people keep fighting. I always say, the current regime, how did they start? It used to be what I call the New Dawn. Henry Jalakwan Jr., he was the pioneer president of New Dawn, right? Ndaze Valede, the current president, was what they call the first vice president. Now, when he was appointed in the National Bureau of Food, he could not believe be up there in the National Bureau and then see be the president down here. He had to forgo the presidency down here, and that's how Ndaze Valede came in. And mind you, Opopo gained promotion in the Elite 2 when he was the president of the Southwest Regional League. It was during the Elite 1 where I think it was close to the Elite 1 whereby Ndaze had taken over, whereby Opopo had gained promotion, but then it's still the same regime. But then you going out there to fight the very regime that it's the very people that you work with. You see, it's more of a fight, a fight for interest than even the football itself.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We have a message here from someone who identified himself as Reverend Father Aloysius Otuka Nzifo. He says he's the former President General of Victoria United. According to him, President Quine has been the best president ever for Victoria United, and they should encourage him out there in Limbe. It looks like he's not being supported out there. Thank you very much, Reverend Father. He says he's a Reverend Father Aloysius Otuka Nzifo, former President General of Opopo. Well, thank you very much, Reverend Father Otuka Nzifo, for your contribution. And in the midst of all this, Pep, we know that President Bob Didi, as is mostly called out there in Limbe, he has been the one giving the tactical aspects and everything. Now that he has been banned, which means that he will not be attending some of the matches, I'm sure.
He will not be attending.
How would that affect the team? Because this is the only team we have.
It's two ways of the coin. What will help the team is if sit down, I know he will still be quiet, but put in his finance.
Who really is the coach of that team?
And look for a charismatic manager. No matter how big by the butch, I will not stand here and lambast Bob Didi, what he has done for Opopo. And as I will stay it vehemently clear, we have allowed politics. It's so deeply into our country like Kakawom. Because in politics, there are no friend, there are no enemy. The way some of the Limbe people are rubbishing this man, I'm not happy. Stanley, to be sincere. If he finally, I will plead back. I'm just praying by the grace of God that if this year Opopo finally end and subtract in the early one, I will suggest Bob Didi, if his suspension finished, let him go and look for his own club and create his own club.
Exactly.
And create his own club and look for a man, and I see who will sustain that club.
That means you will start from scratch.
Yeah, no problem. Like what Makamoni. Then I see how they will sustain that same club they are claiming. It's not by talking, it's not by character. What you need first to have a club is money and passion. You may have the money. We have club president with financial level, they cannot put their money into club. So for that, they will know there. I will not give him praises for what he has done to sustain that club. He stands as a third team in the Anglophone to have won the league. Tico, PWD, and Opopo. It's not easy. Whatever by hook or crook, it goes down on record.
But at least he has the right to appeal.
He has the right to appeal. I know, but it will be difficult. That money will be taken, but that sanction will not be taken. They can reduce the tax money, but that sanction will still stay there. Because there's a lot of evidence coiling to that sanction.
All right, and so Coach Lambert, many have been talking about the relationship between the president, I'm talking about Valentine Quine, and the president of the Cameroon Football Federation. Now that the federation, through its disciplinary committee, have heavily sanctioned President Bob Didi, I'm sure that relationship that people used to talk about between Mr. Eto'o and Bob Didi, I'm sure now it will reduce, because people keep saying that no matter what happened, nothing will happen to him. At least now he has been suspended by the federation.
Stanley, like I said, see, compare this season, the way it began, since it began, and the last season. You see, the president of the federation, you look at even his attitude. He's not really portraying that bossy attitude per se. He's trying to make some compromises, and he knows himself. The president knows that he has been on the spotlight for very, very wrong reasons. He wants to clear his name. He wants to. As far as I'm concerned, he has distanced himself from Bob Didi. Bob Didi himself said it in a press conference, I think last 2-3 months ago, that he has not spoken to the president for quite a long time. And it's true. I believe that to be true, because he's just survived the CAF sledgehammer recently. He won the case recently, right? Where the appeal went against him of the betting stuff.
Yeah.
He won it. It's not been easy. And that has cost him his seat at what? CAF
the CAF
executive committee. Then, if you are the one, I mean, there's what's saying that once bitten, twice shy. If a snake bites you, you see a lizard, you run far. So he's out now to clear things, even from the refereeing aspect. You see, first initially, Ngwableza was initially suspended, and at the beginning of this season, FIFA released the list of referees to retained to participate in FIFA tournaments. Ngwableza's name was among the referees. Sadly enough, Ngwableza has not participated in any match in the country because of the sanction. It was strict regarding this betting stuff, because they claim they have seen him with because all referees and players are prohibited from having the betting app in their mobile phones. So seemingly they had discovered the betting app in his phone, and that's how the sanction came about. But then the question, the million dollar question people asking is, how can the league sanction a player and then the boss,
the more superior
body comes and reveal, publish a list whereby they recognize that it means there's a problem somewhere. And then what they do, they had no choice but to do what? Reinstate Ngwableza, and now he's a regular referee in a MTN Elite One Championship. It's just to tell you that the man means business right now.
Elections are coming up.
Elections are coming up. Of course.
He wants to play
even his tone of yesterday, all the way has been behaving. Even yesterday, if you observed him yesterday, was not really that bossy person he used to be. He has discovered he has to make some compromises. What's the essence of fighting himself? What's the essence of fighting himself, boss? What's the essence of going ahead to terminate the contract of Mark Breeze, whereby I just survived, paying Conceição a huge sum of money, whereby all blame is laying on me. They are putting all blame on me, despite the fact that it was a bi-party agreement. But then why am I the one taking the fallout?
And that was one of the biggest talking point within the week, that Coach Antonio Conceição have finally been paid 1.2 billion for the termination of his contract. We made to understand that it was the President of the Republic that gave the order for the money to be paid. Pep, we've been talking about this some time ago, and I noticed many football lovers in the country have been blaming the federation, because according to them, it is the federation that made the move for Antonio Conceição's contract.
Antonio Conceição was employed by the Minister of Physical and Sport, Physical Education.
Yeah.
And the contract was terminated by Eto'o. Let's say things where they are. There was a loggerhead between the minister and the two. When he appointed some, the number one sports spokesman, which is the president, say, Minister, stay put. Song should remain and the coach. It means he's accord with the decision Eto'o has taken. So now that the money has to come, it has to come directly from the instruction from the president.
And that was what the communique from
directly from the president
was saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
The money has to come. He was the one who accord. The Minister of Sport is the boss of all sporting activity. So he was not accepting, because he had just accepted a 2-year contract of Conceição and was terminated by Eto'o.
Exactly. That's why I was
so in the process of dragging, the number one sportsman said, no, Minister, allow Eto'o. He has made his choice. He has terminated the contract with Conceição. And Song is now the new coach, which means if anything is coming as payment, it's the country, because the
president agrees,
took side with the Feka football, so he has to discharge the money and pay. Now what is there?
Coach Lambert, you wanted to say something concerning this issue
Yes,
because
you know, the problem with us is that when the contract is signed, even today, we don't even know the specificity of the McBreeze contract. We don't know. So something happens tomorrow, that's when we start hearing things that you see. Sometimes we have a problem since, like Pep said, from the foundation. There was even rumors sometimes that Conceição's contract had expired, but the minister unilaterally decided to extend the contract. It means the initial contract had expired.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
that was the
unilaterally
case.
extended the contract, but Samuel Eto'o was not in accord with that.
In accord with what he did.
He terminated the contract
when
he already signed the contract. But then FIFA will always recognize the contract because he initially was the one that signed the first contract. So if he extended the contract unilaterally, then
he stays it. So that he has extended the contract.
You have to pay him the money.
You have to pay him.
So that's the problem. There are a lot of things that goes in the background that we don't know. Sometimes we analyze things based on the information we have, but there's more to what we don't know. Take for instance, I always give this example: Samuel Eto'o and Jeremy Njitap. Jeremy Njitap is the president of SNAFOC.
Yeah.
Samuel Eto'o is the president of Cameroon Football Federation. Now Samuel Eto'o, we know to date he has a problem with the club president simply because they don't want to pay players' salary.
Yeah.
He's fighting, perhaps seemingly he's fighting for players' right, and players' well-being. SNAFOC on its other part equally stands for the well-being of players because they represent the players.
Yeah.
The players.
Now, what can actually happen to see these two at loggerheads if they are seemingly fighting for the same objective? You see, that's the million-dollar question that today we can never know what transpires between them, that they hate each other so much.
The hatred is going daily basis.
That is what I'm trying to say.
And they need to reconcile.
Today we don't even know the actual problem they have. So you see, there is more because
a lot of water must have passed under the bridge.
That is what
we are just seeing from the upper part, but
we are analyzing based on the information we have.
But there is a lot of insight.
There is so much we don't know. So sometimes before we want to take side, you think of what you don't equally know.
It's true.
Yes. All right. So Antonio Conceição's money has been paid, and so he has completely parted ways with the Cameroon Football Federation. We now have a new man in charge, Mr. Peter McBreeze, who seems not to agree with the country's football federation. We're made to understand, Coach Lambert, that the football federation had to convey a meeting with the Ministry of Sports to talk about the behavior of Coach McBreeze. According to them, McBreeze is not giving the respect he should give to the federation, and they were even proposing that McBreeze should be replaced as a coach of the national football team of Cameroon. But I'm sure as of now they have settled that issue, that McBreeze should stay. But what I want to find out from you is, how can a coach even think that he can work without the compliance with the football federation? You
know, this before I sign a contract with you, first I always say there's always a root to every problem. How he was brought in, you already know what entails, because already the FECAFOOT was bypassed in signing McBreeze's contract, meaning he was given specific tasks.
But he too is not helping matters.
No, he's not helping. But then you see,
he's worse than the minister himself.
Look,
HY, he's worse than the minister.
If a foreigner comes into your house and talks to your father anyhow, it's because you let the foreigner come and talk to him and rubbish your household. You fail once you fail to among those 18 points, I think it was 18, right?
Yeah.
There was one that they said disrespect for the national emblem, which is a Cameroon flag, Cameroon anthem. You know, you see, sometimes you think you are the infighting. You are being somebody to fight your battle for you, but you don't know you are fighting. You are fighting. You are destroying your entire.
Coach Lambert, the word I even have is, it looks like Mr. Eto'o, who is the president of the Football Federation, and the Minister of Sports, it looks like they have reconciled. But McBreeze is still holding on this, because before the draws of the AFCON, we noticed that there was some sort of reconciliation between Mr. Eto'o and the Minister of Sports, but McBreeze still went ahead to make sarcastic statements.
That is the problem. It's because he's been cornered in a tight angle whereby he cannot control McBreeze. It's now left for the minister himself.
So why is the minister not putting things in order?
When I look at this situation,
is the minister has the right now
I'm blaming McBreeze than the minister.
Yesterday was supposed to be at the what kind of coach that you don't attend the Ballon d'Or ceremony, a very important that concerns you.
Yeah, he was supposed to be there.
Cameroon Cup finals, he was not there. Super Cup, in fact, he has not attended any sporting.
I'm blaming more on McBreeze than the minister. I know the minister was the direct employer.
But how can you blame McBreeze?
McBreeze is the forerunner, but the minister is Cameroonian.
Like why I say I'm blaming McBreeze. Age-wise, he's not a young man, and in his country, know that the football federation is in charge of their own football there. Even though he was employed by the minister with his age, he has to respect both parties. That was I'm blaming more than any other body. He talks like a child. That's what I'm saying. Even though the minister gave him full support, but he has abused that support the minister gave him. So I'm blaming him more than the minister.
No, instead on my, I blame the minister more because that man is a foreigner. He has come to work his money.
Does he not understand how? Can you go to Europe and behave like that?
That is why I'm saying that I blame.
Can they employ Europe and behave like that?
Those in charge.
They have the question. You know how things are being made.
Stanley, for Christ's sake, they cannot employ and do that because the moment you do it, you have breached a contract.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I blame the minister and the commander.
The minister has signed. Has given a contract to Mark Breeze. HUS Mark Breeze 61. Does Mark Breeze does not know that the FECA boss is in charge of football in Cameroon?
But Pep, don't you think that the minister can call him?
He can call Mark Breeze.
Before calling him to order, he has to behave like a man. We are talking about adult 61 plus. That's my problem.
They have to call him to order. That's when he will learn how to behave.
Anyway, if you look at it that way, I have my way I look at things. I must diagnose something and I look where I'll blame you. You have to respect yourself by respecting other people. He's not respecting himself.
All right. So Coach Peter Mark Breeze looks like he will be maintained as the coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Remember, we'll be going for the AFCON in the month of December. But before that, we have some World Cup qualifiers to take on, particularly in the month of March. We'll have 2 games in this month of March. Today is the 1st of March. Right. So we'll be playing against Eswatini at home, and then we'll have to travel away to take on Libya. So these World Cup qualifiers, the 2026 World Cup qualifiers will also serve as a preparation for the African Cup of Nations that will be coming up in December. We are talking about all these because we are saying a final goodbye to Coach Antonio Conceição, who has been around asking for his money. So the money has been given, and I'm sure he has finally left us alone. Coach Mark Breeze, Lambert was saying that he has no fear. Cameroonians should have no fear. He even said he's not afraid even of Mr. Eto'o, that he's going to Morocco to come back with the trophy. I was surprised. This is his very first time to coach a national team and even the African Cup of Nations. Why is he so confident that he will win the AFCON?
He's so confident because, I always say, in football, when there's that team spirit, that unity, you can excel. You always need something to fight for. I always give this example.
So you are saying that there's unity in the national team?
But if you bring that's why you see there was a question over the weekend whereby I was asking in one radio station the other day, why do I think Etienne Eto'o, the son of Samuel Eto'o, deserves to be called up in the national team because he's spitting fire in Rayo Vallecano team B. He even got a call up, I think, twice now in the
first team. Yeah.
Now I said, as far as Mark Breeze is concerned, I don't see that being a possibility.
Yeah, because it's a son of
Eto'o. Yes, and he knows he cannot bring somebody that is in favor of Samuel Eto'o because it will be more of destruction.
No, one of the reasons why Fabrice Ondua is not being called up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. If Fabrice Ondua had come, trust me, it would perhaps be something different, even though he will be fighting for his country. But then look at everybody that's being caught up. There are people that perhaps have not been. Even take for instance, when Mark Breeze came, this other man that was called that is playing in France, Regis Mughal. He had been called by some, but he did not show up. He turned down the call up during the AFCON. There's this other guy too that was called up and he refused to show up. Somebody tried Baleba, but I know that Baleba was still trying to establish, but it did not come. Then you see, there's always that connection between those that are playing under Mark Breeze right now and there's equally a connection that we saw back then. So you see, there's a reason they have to fight to disprove, to show that Mark Breeze actually is a better coach than Rigobert Song, and that's why you see they have a reason to fight. He's betting on the players' unity, and that's why I cannot compromise that being somebody that he thinks is in favor of Samuel Eto'o. All
right, Pep.
If you look at Mark Breeze, though you are going to the Nation Cup, he's blowing trumpet. Stanley, with the depth of squad we had, I've said it and I'll make it clear, we are not a favorite. Going to that Nation Cup, first we are playing in North Africa. And if you look statistically, it is difficult.
Remember, we won an AFCON there in 1988?
We had the depth of squad, not this type of squad. 1988 in Morocco, we had the quality of players to come back with the trophy. And don't forget, we eliminated Morocco in 1988 when Koundé Emmanuel, Mansi Benjamin was shown 2 yellow cards, could not play. Bernard Shaki and Stable. We have the quality. Kana, Mbumi, and Makanaki at the midfield. We had them was scored. He's going to the tournament as favorite, but not top favorite. Eto'o, who was dragging leg with the minister, have you not reconciled that the minister is his boss? They will say, I'm blaming Mark Luther. You need to say, Eto'o, I respected my employer like the minister. But for peace and serenity and for me to succeed, I will accord with you now. And accord if a son is fit to play, call him to play. You will be judged by a success.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. We are out of time. We're talking about the national team because a former coach of that team have finally parted ways with them. He was always around asking for his money, and I'm sure he has been giving that money. All right, I want to thank you guys very much. Coach Lambert, thank you very much for coming.
The pleasure is always, I will always be mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pep.
We give the glory to Almighty God.
Time has always been a problem on a sports banquet. I equally want to thank you out there for watching this program. Stanley Tata is my name. This program was produced by John Philip Wangla. Behind the cameras was El Supremo, and general supervision was ensured by Jude Mbaku. We'll be here again next week, Saturday, beginning 10:30 a.m. Until then, have a blessed weekend.